John Brody. We're delighted you can be with us because when the Steelers and the Browns hook up, it is usually a very good one. These two teams are about as emotionally high as two football teams can be, and the fans are right up there with them. John, when you look at the Steelers, you have to admire their head coach, Chuck Noll. He's a quiet guy. He doesn't get a lot of press, but what a motivator, what a leader.
Don, I think he's the best-kept secret in the National Football League. He's been the best coach over the past 8 or 10 years. He's got them ready every week. He's not only a technician, he's also an administrator. It's a rare quality. He is, right now, the premier coach in the game.
Well, injuries are going to be a factor in this football game. Both teams are hurt. You won't believe this crowd. It's unbelievable. They're really up. The Steelers have good backup people. They've lost starters, and yet their backup people have come in and played like all pros.
I think the Steelers, that's the name of the game. We talk about key injuries. A key injury is an injury that you can't replace. So there is no such thing in Pittsburgh. A kid like Tom Beasley comes on as a down lineman, starts playing great football. Gary Dunn plays great football when he's asked to play. Banaszak's having the best year of the whole defense. We already know about Lambert. We already know about Green. But when you ask a guy like Gert Winston not only to play the middle, but today move outside and play, and their level of play doesn't go down, you're talking about a world champion.
Well, Sam Ratigliano and his Cleveland Browns have the same problem. They've got people hurt. They have to rely on backup players today.
I think in order for them to get into the league that Pittsburgh has now attained, they've got to play some of their first draft choices. You're going to see a kid like today. You might see a Willis Adams. He's a 4'4", 40-yard runner, a guy named Cody Rison. Cody is a guard. He's got to be doing some playing. Their offensive line is good. For it to get over the hump, a kid like this has to come along and play well for him.
And John Smith will be in there also. You need everybody you got. It gets to be a game of attrition after a while. Who do you have less? Well, these two teams have two good ones coming in, like Willis Adams at wide receiver.
Well, Willis Adams has played very well, but he hasn't been given a chance to play in the games. He's the kind of guy everybody expects a lot from. We'll see today. They need somebody to expand the defense.
And we've got two fine quarterbacks, as you know. Terry Bradshaw quarterbacks the Steelers, and Brian Sipe does a big job for the Cleveland Browns. And they're ready, and so are we, and we're glad you can be with us. Stay tuned now, as we're almost set to tee it up. The Browns versus the Steelers. Hey. This is Don Criqui with John Brody, Cleveland Stadium, as the Browns and the Steelers have it teed up and ready to go, and that's how it stands right now in the AFC Central. At the moment, Houston is beating St. Louis 14-7, so the winner of this game will have at least a share of first place in the AFC Central. Barr kicks off. It carries deep, and newly acquired Dino Hall starts back upfield for the Cleveland Browns. He's got some room. As Hall is out across the 30, out to the 34-yard line. Keith Wright, the brilliant young punt returner, kick returner for the Browns, is out for this season after undergoing knee surgery earlier this week. So Dino Hall has come in. That's how the offensive backfield looks.
All right, Calvin Hill's the man that's in place of Greg Pruitt. Brian Sipe's been having a great year. He's carried him, actually, and if Cleveland's going to really be in the same league with Pittsburgh throughout the afternoon, the rest of his club's got to come up to his level of play.
Well, they got the field position. The Browns come out of the huddle. They had an off game last Sunday at Houston. Were beaten for the first time this season. The Steelers had their 12-game win streak broken last Sunday at Philadelphia. Both these teams are way up for this game. Here's a handoff. Pruitt runs hard. The Steelers have given up very little to the run this season. The straight ahead carry is out across the 35-yard line to about the 37.
Don, talking to Jim Schaffner and Sam Ratigliano before the ball game, he said, we know we can go to these fellows. These are our big play people, Rucker, Logan, Newsom. But what we've got to do, and it's an old cliche, is establish that we can run. He said previously in the last couple games we've established we could not, and that's not the way we want it to go.
Well, if you can establish you can run against this outfit, the Steelers, you get some offense. Calvin Hill aligns now behind Pruitt. I formation, two wide receivers to the left. Pitch back Calvin Hill. They come back to the weak side. And Calvin Hill drives the ball on a 2nd and 6 carry out across the 41-yard line. The Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers have been meeting since 1950. This is the 59th meeting in the series.
And these are the fellows that have to move people around. George Beeler has moved his spot from right guard to left guard. He feels like he's playing better. Tom DeLeon is the real spearhead in the middle. Henry Shepard's moved from guard to tackle. They're a pretty solid offensive line. They have to be a little bit better to compete with Pittsburgh today.
Now Rucker comes out wide to the right. Moving out to the left flank for the Cleveland Browns is Ricky Feature. It is 3rd down and about 3 for the Cleveland Browns. Somebody jumped in early. No marker down yet. Free football, and the Steelers have the football. Apparently that Steeler who jumped in jumped back in time. So the first break of the game goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they don't get breaks, they make them.
I think, Don, what you're going to see is a lot of times fumbles happen because people get to the ball carrier before he's ready to have them do so. It wasn't the case this time. Dirt Winston just got a good piece of the ball when he tackled Pruitt, caused a fumble. The first big turnover is Pittsburgh's.
Chuck Noll now congratulates his defense as they've come up with a big play again. They've allowed only 71 points this season as the Pittsburgh defense, and a lot of those are resulting in turnovers, giving the other team good field position. Steelers have turned the ball over 16 times this year. It's 1st and 10, Pittsburgh, no score. Sidney Thornton, averaging 5.6 yards a rush, takes it inside the 30, inside the 20. And Thornton, the big back, is not done yet as he brings the ball all the way down inside the 20-yard line.
Don, Joe Gordon, the PR man for Pittsburgh, has stated so. He says he can't understand it. We all know about Rocky Blyer, Franco Harris. He said Sidney Thornton is carrying this club offensively right now. You can see he turns a 4-yard gain into about a 25-yarder, and he's been the big play man for Pittsburgh. It's Bradshaw, Thornton, and Harris in the backfield.
And so the Steelers, capitalizing on an early turnover after Cleveland's first possession ended in a fumble, are now starting to challenge with no score in the first quarter. It's 1st and 10 at the 17-yard line of Cleveland. Franco Harris drives the ball down to the 10-yard line. Charlie Hall, Cleveland's leading tackler coming to the game at the left linebacker, 59, was on the hit for the Browns. So right away, the Steelers come out. They want to run the football. They'd like to keep their offense on the field and their beat-up defense, give it as much rest as they can.
Okay, it's a pretty windy day. Bradshaw would like to throw sparingly. He's got an outstanding receiver in John Stallworth. We know Swan's hurt. Jim Smith's a pretty good fill-in. And Randy Grossman is playing fine football. Look for number 89 late in the game, however.
John Stallworth comes on the left flank. Jim Smith out on the right flank. It is 2nd and 4 for the Steelers. Draw play, Thornton right up the middle. And he takes the ball down to the 12-yard line. Cleveland's regular middle linebacker, Dick Ambrose, will only be used for spot duty today. He's got a back problem. In there in his stead is 56, Robert Jackson, a former #1 draft choice out of Texas A&M. And he just went against an all-pro center in Webster, and Webster won.
Well, that lineup right there, if you're playing defense, you know these fellas are going to trap you. The problem is you don't know when and you don't know who. But when you talk with these fellas offensively, they can trap with anybody in the game.
The left tackle is a great football player for the Steelers, John Kolb. Now in the backfield, Sidney Thornton and Franco Harris in an open set. It is 3rd and less than a yard for the Steelers. No score first quarter. Bradshaw looks into the end zone. Over the middle, touchdown. He broke the play to the goal.
I think they signaled it touchdown.
Danny Cunningham had it long enough. He had possession when he crossed the plane to the goal line, and the hands went up. It is a touchdown, Steelers, John.
I think he was going for a little spike action as he crossed the goal line. It's a good thing he did it before after he got there. I've seen several guys go through their act before they got there,
right.
And then it would have been a 6-point mistake. Because you watch Cunningham pick up the ball, a little bit low throw. Ooh, he just got there, I'll tell you.
He hit it with his knee, actually.
Yep.
I think he was going to go into one of those stands.
This is just a little delayed block, Don. He tries to let the linebackers get into their drop. He comes across the middle. It's 6-0. Now it's 7.
Matt Barr hits the extra point, and so the Steelers capitalize early on a Brown fumble. And the Pittsburgh Steelers go out in front, 7-0. We'll be back at Cleveland Stadium. This is Don Criqui with John Brody. Steelers capitalized early. They're in the end zone right away.
They knew they had to get started fast. They did it.
All right, we're ready now for the Steelers' second kickoff of this football game. Dennis Winston recovering that fumble on Cleveland's first possession. Now, back again is Dino Hall to receive, and Matt Barr, who hit the extra points, ready to kick off for the Steelers. He's into the football. Sun's starting to break through. A lot of wind here. It's going to be a factor as the game wears on. Hall loses the handle. He's got a problem now. Dino Hall does get across the 20-yard line. We got some great NBC pictures of that last touchdown, the first of the game. Watch this now.
We mentioned Benny Cunningham. He was in for Grossman. 2 tight end situation. He blocks, lets the linebackers clean out. Then when he comes across, it's very difficult to tell whether or not he just crossed the goal line or whether he just got there a little prematurely. But you can see he's letting the linebackers go, beating the flow. You see the ball got hit. He's trying to get control of it. He was in, ruled by the referee. That's all that's counted.
So you see it a couple different ways. Our producer here today for NBC is Larry Cirillo. Our director, Ted Nathanson. We're in the first quarter. The Cleveland Browns have their second possession now. They've had a problem moving the ball. Up the middle, they go back to Pruitt. And the Steelers close it down fast and hard. They're looking at Joe Green. I think they're going to double up on him this afternoon.
Joe Green has played very well against the run. You can see he stands up the guards. It's very difficult when the man you have to pick on is an 8 to 10 year veteran, number 75. They've been running at him. They haven't run effectively at him all year.
He only goes to the Pro Bowl every year. Joe Green, back in good health. L.C. Greenwood is back in the Steeler lineup, too. He's at left end, missed 4 games with injuries. Now the Browns try to go to the run, and there's nothing there. Calvin Hill gets a full load, and coming up to get him is John Banaszak, back in his hometown of Cleveland, Ohio, playing the right end for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Defensive line of the Steelers.
We mentioned Gary Dunn, Banaszak, Beasley. They're not the fellas that you're associating with the greatness of the Pittsburgh defenses over the years, but the Pittsburgh defense has not dropped in its play, and it's changed in its personnel. John Banaszak having his best year of all time.
It is 3rd down and 7 now for the Cleveland Browns. End up. Here's Dino Hall in the backfield. They're going with some high speed. And Hall takes it out across the 30, and he might have a first down. Now, as you know, Greg Pruitt is out for Cleveland. They're a great little scat back. So they picked up Hall, and he provides some of that outside speed, which the big backs don't have.
He's got excellent speed, and he needed it that time. He just outran all the pursuit. Ham's got a little pulled hamstring. Jack Lambert's playing injured. Dennis Winston had to move over to the corner. So you see they've got kind of a makeshift defense, but they've still been tough.
Here's some guys that can play football. J.T. Thomas starting at a corner for Ron Johnson. Mel Blount, consensus All-Pro year in, year out. Donnie Shell, Brown coaches think he might be the best guy back there, the strong safety. A lot of football talent in the secondary of the Steelers. Whole roster, 45. They all are outstanding. They are the world champions and expect to be again. This is a confident football team, but right now on a first down carry, the Browns move it out again. They get good blocking from the left side. The tackle is Deacon, number 73. The guard is Beeler, 64. And DeLeon moved out nicely at center and hit the middle linebacker of the Steelers, Jack Lambert.
They're going to have to get that kind of movement out of their offensive line. They put a big burden on them. They said, you fellas have to move their defense backwards in order for us to move the ball and control it. If we can't throw when we want to, if they're dictating to us when we have to throw, we're in trouble.
Brian Sipe now sets down his Cleveland Browns on a 2nd down and long 5 play at the 36-yard line of Cleveland. Pitch back here is Mike Pruitt. The big back from Purdue is stopped by Dennis Winston. The outside linebacker Winston got him first and then knocked him down. So right now we have 9 minutes and 50 seconds left to play in the first quarter. The clock is running, Cleveland, and the Steelers are in the lead 7-0. A little short touchdown pass over the middle, rifled by Bradshaw to tight end Benny Cunningham. Got it into the end zone.
Let's see what they do.
Ricky Feature and Reggie Rucker, the wide receivers. Sipe gets some time. He's got a man open. Calvin Hill was there. Calvin Hill was open, but Sipe had to come in high as the big Steeler linemen were in his face. It's very difficult to handicap this wind, as you know, John. I've been down on the field looking at it closely and feeling it on the playing surface. It's a swirling wind coming off Lake Erie, which is 100 yards away. Johnny Evans hits the punt. An up bounce. Didn't help anybody on the hop. Now takes a little Cleveland roll inside the 30. And the Steelers will go back on offense, 1st and 10. Kansas City, under another coach you don't hear a lot about, but he really has his team prepared, Marv Levy. They win their 4th game of the season. Kansas City beating Cincinnati 10-7. Now, dropping to throw on a first down play is Terry Bradshaw. Home run ball. Starworth is out there, and he has it inside the Cleveland 30. John Starworth on a straight fly release. Coming down, little turn, and Bradshaw with that gun arm puts it right on the numbers.
What a beautiful throw. It's the kind of throw that nobody had a chance to catch the ball but Starworth from the time it was thrown. He saw them in a double zone coverage. 2 people trying to play center field. He's got a good play action pass, looks off, got Tom Darden to react down toward the left side of the field. If he can move his eyes around, get Darden reacting to him, he can have a big day. If he can't, he's trouble.
Bradshaw's primary problem this year has been interceptions. He's been picked off 8 times. Franco Harris gets the call. On a first down carry, he advances the ball close to the 27-yard line. Charlie Hall, 59, made the stop for the Cleveland Browns. But right now, the Steelers have been dominating this football game. On Cleveland's first possession, if you joined us late, a fumble. Dennis Winston got it for the Steelers. 4 plays later, they were in the end zone on the payoff. And it was Terry Bradshaw to tight end Benny Cunningham. So it's 7-0 now, and the Steelers stout come out the second challenge. Lynn Swann, of course, their all-pro pass catcher, is not in this game. He's out with a hamstring. Franco Harris, good fill by the Cleveland linebackers. For a football game, the Eagles upping their record to 5-1. Rocky Blyer's in the backfield now. He catches the ball on 3rd and 4. Here's the pitch, and Benny Cunningham has another one. He is stuck in hard. Oliver Davis came up and banged him, but it was too little too late as Cunningham makes the first down reception at the 15-yard, about the 12-yard line.
Let's keep in mind, Cunningham weighs over 250 pounds. He's an outstanding athlete. He can run patterns across the middle, and he is the leader when he's going across the middle. Those defensive backs aren't going to wrap him the way they'd like to wrap those little wide receivers. When they do get a piece of him, they better hang on.
There's a lot of Benny, 250 pounds. Jim Smith from Michigan, the man that Navy coach George Welch called the best receiver he's ever seen in college football, is to the right. Sidney Thornton runs the football. Got a first down carry. He got about 3. It gives you an idea how deep and how strong the Steelers are when a guy that one top coach assesses the best college receiver he's ever seen only gets to start when somebody's hurt.
But when Swann has been hurt, Smith has played extremely well.
There's Lynn Swann wearing his number 88 and his Willie Stargell hat.
Looks like he's getting ready for the World Series.
They have a few champions banners hanging at Cleveland, Pittsburgh this year. As Bradshaw looks into the end zone, he's got an awful lot of time. He's going to beat you when you give him this much time. Touchdown, Sidney Thornton. So Bradshaw strikes early and often in this football game with 5:52 still to play in the first quarter. The Steelers are out in front 13-0. John Brody.
You just can't ask your linebackers to cover all over the football field. Both his wide receivers were covered just like a blanket. Bradshaw wants to go out to the right, then he comes back. Now finally he comes over to Thornton across the middle, who went out to the right side, came all the way across the field, found himself open. Bradshaw hit him. Let's take a look at Robert Jackson. There's going to be a burden on him. See, he runs right in. Now he's already run his pattern. This is one of those 7-second patterns.
Back to the live coverage of the extra point by Barr. It is up and good. And so the world champions have taken command of this football game, but we've got a long way to go. It's 14-0 Pittsburgh over Cleveland. We'll be back in a moment.
Fist buds for all the people who make the sidelines a part of the show.
Fist buds for you. For all you do, the king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
With John Brody, this is Don Crickey back at Cleveland Stadium. The Steelers have taken command of this game in the first quarter, 14-0 as Barr kicks off again. Dino Hall waits the ball at the 5-yard line. He's to the 20. Got that good second move and accelerates ahead across the 20-yard line out to the 25. Draft choice number 2 coming down, and he makes the special teams hit.
And that's the only way you can make the Pittsburgh team. You're not going to get right into the lineup playing either offense or defense. You go down and you take on a few wedges. You find a spot for yourself on the roster. Zach Valentine made a great play.
John, at this point now, does Cleveland have to come out of its game plan and start firing?
Oh, I don't think so. It's a little early to get out of whatever design you've had going into the ball game. They wanted to run it. I think they've shown they can, but Sipe is a thrower, and he's been getting this team by on his arm, and I think you're going to see more of it.
Well, the Browns said the coaches were probably last week they had to come out of the game plan early. Here's Ozzie Newsome, and he catches the ball on Wagner. It's a first down for the Browns. Ozzie Newsome, a strong tight end who's got the excellent speed, gets down. Here's an upset. The Chicago Bears in a hailstorm at Buffalo on a 1-yard run by Walter Payton with just over a minute to play in the game. Beat the Buffalo Bills 7-0. Atlanta back on track now after Green Bay's big win Monday night over New England. Atlanta on the home field beats the Packers 25-7. Atlanta now 3-3. The Packers are 2-4. Brian Sipe with the big throw to Newsome has a first down. Draw play. Look at that play by Joe Green, but Mike Pruitt does well to elude Green momentarily and get ahead for yardage as Green had him at the line of scrimmage.
A very nice 4 or 5 yard gain. We mentioned Dirk Winston. He's got to play the outside, see how he does. Number 53. You can see he doesn't go for much. Calvin Hill's trying to get a piece of him. See if he can't help Mike Pruitt. He does his job. Pruitt picks up 4, but it was a nice run to get it.
So far, both teams have run 10 plays. But the Steelers have the lead. There's Greg Pruitt on the sidelines. The all-purpose back. He has a sprained knee. There was some concern he might need surgery, but that is not the case. He might be back as early as next week. Brian Sipe looking long. Lets her go. A penalty marker is down in the secondary of the Pittsburgh Steelers. We could have a call going against Pittsburgh, which would be resulting in a first down at the point of infraction. Referee today is Jim Tunney. He's going to give us the call. Going to go against the Steelers, John.
It is. It's going to be first down for the Browns. They need to sustain a drive here. They've got to get some points on the board.
5 yards, first down.
It's a Sipe alternating wide receiver. Newsom is aligned to the right. Wind is really gusty now. It's going to be tough to throw in this football game. Sipe's going to try it again. He looks. He lets her go long. Ozzie Newsom is out there. The feature is out there and loses the ball. But there's a penalty marker down. Ricky Feature was interfered with. It is a first down for the Browns, so now they mount a challenge.
It was not a well-thrown ball by Sipe, but it was a very well-fielded ball by Feature. What he did is he goes down the field, little play-action pass. He freezes the linebackers, gives himself quite a bit of the field to play with. If he's thrown the ball a little more in the middle, Feature's got it on a dead run. However, Feature did slow down enough to force Blunt to come over the top of him, drew a penalty, keeps their drive alive.
Sure does. The best field position of the game now for the Cleveland Browns. They have the ball down to the 21-yard line of the Pittsburgh Steelers. We have 4:11 left to play. First quarter. Steelers jumped out in their first two possessions to a 14-0 lead. Bradshaw gunning the ball into the end zone both times for the touchdowns. Cunningham got the first. Sidney Thornton the second. It's 1st and 10 Browns at the 21-yard line of the Steelers. Here's a pass, and out there with the football is Calvin Hill, and he's down inside the 15-yard line. Superb execution as Sipe stood tall against the big rush.
It looked like an audible. Now, you don't hear much about audibles, Don, anymore, but it looked like Pittsburgh was in a blitz, a 6- or 7-man blitz. Lambert was the only one that was in the middle of the field. That puts Wagner man-to-man on Calvin Hill, a perfect throwing situation on a play-action pass. He took advantage of it.
So the Browns have something going now as Cleo Miller goes into their backfield. Number 30, Calvin Hill is in there with him. Rucker is wide to the right. Dave Logan, who can go up in the air and get the ball, is on the left flank. On 2nd and 2, Cleo Miller runs the ball. You're right into the heart of the Steeler defense. You don't get hit once. You get hit 1, 2, 3 times on that play, and down goes Miller. He did get a couple. Cleveland in white and orange in possession, trailing 14-0 in the first quarter. Pruitt runs hard. He gets inside the 10. He's got a first down for the Browns.
Good offensive surge. Both guards.
Really
and
did.
the center, Tom DeLeon, just enough surge to pick up a first down. That 1 or 2 yards is not an automatic. It's not easy. Here's Henry Shepard on the right, 65. Jackson on the right at the right guard. DeLeon, real good offensive surge. Gave Pruitt a chance to pick up the first.
So now the Browns are challenging. There's 15,000 here from Pittsburgh. Trying to get somebody elected. I'll tell you one thing, you get a pretty good football team out of some of these hombres that come in to follow the Steelers.
They were ready last night. I don't know if they're ready today.
They were really ready last night. Sipe looked into the end zone. Yeah, ball is tipped. The Steeler linebacker, Jack Lambert.
People talk about how good Lambert is at stopping the run, but he's one of the most effective linebackers patrolling that middle. He gets in the proper lane all the time, and he's very tough to throw on, and it really helps those safeties.
It's interesting, Jack Lambert grew up not far from Cleveland, was a Browns fan all his life, never missed a game. No Browns fan anymore. These two teams don't like each other. They get after it. Jack Lambert, the middle linebacker, dropping back in that zone coverage, and he tipped the ball. So now it's second. Conceivably, the Browns could get a first down if they get to advance the ball inside the 1. It's just outside the 10-yard line. Now it's 2nd and 10. Pitch back goes. Here is Pruitt running hard. He's got everybody out in front of him. He's down to the 6-yard line. So a third down play comes up. And I think, John Brody, we could see Sipe throw into the end zone.
Well, certainly we could. It's no easy trick to pick up 5 yards when you're down on the 6-yard line on third down. It's the toughest situation for a quarterback. I'm sure that, you know, teams get into drills where you say inside the 10-yard line, what's our best third down play? You're going to see it right now. And
why
I don't
is it so
know
tough
what it
for
is.
a quarterback? Why does
Well, you run out of room.
Yeah.
Everybody crowds you. And there are no patterns that you can run effectively down there. You just have to get one-on-one situations somewhere and hit them. Nice stuff.
Yes, it is. Right now, it's going to be tough for Brian Sipe and the Browns offense. Third at the 6. Into the end zone, he throws. Rucker can't hold on to the football. A little bit high. I think he would have come down outside the end zone, so the kicking team goes out.
Would have been a great catch, but Sipe did throw the ball the only place he had a chance to make the reception.
So now a very capable place kicker, particularly when the weather's bad like it is today with this gusting wind. Don Cockcroft comes on the playing field for the Cleveland Browns as Sipe goes out. He actually threw the ball over 40 times last year, considering the number of plays that were called back on penalties. And Sam Rutigliano says we don't want to be throwing a football 40 times. You usually don't win a game when you do that, and they certainly did not last week. Here's Cockcroft. He hasn't missed many, though. He hits it. He's wide. Don Cockcroft doesn't get it there in the swirling wind. He is wide, and so a good Browns drive comes up empty. 1:22 left to play in the first quarter, and the Steelers give up yardage, but they do not give up points as we watch that kick again. We'll be back in a moment. Here is the seemingly point-blank field goal attempt at Don Cockcroft, but as we see, it just goes wide to the right.
Hit it pretty solid, but you can see it comes in a little late.
And Mr. Cockcroft, quite disappointed. He doesn't miss him from way out, let alone in close, but oddly enough, he's 0 for 2 from that distance this year.
First 3 games of the year, he put him on the win column.
That's right. They won on Cockcroft field goals the first 3 weeks, once in overtime at New York. Bradshaw goes to the run, and now the Steelers use their power game as driving straight ahead into tackle Sims and Shirk is Franco Harris. NBC Sports World. Coming up in 2 weeks on October 20th, you'll see 2 of the hardest hitters in boxing go toe-to-toe for the WBA Heavyweight Championship of the World. Undefeated Big John Tate goes against undefeated Harry Kotsia, live from Pretoria, South Africa. And also you'll see action with the legends of bowling, plus the possibility of a celebrity poker tournament. But a World Championship fight coming up October 20th on NBC. Thornton runs. Boy, he's a big guy, and he hits people, and you got to really question who is the hitter and who is the hittee when he runs into a defense, because he's dealing it out, too. Jackson got him finally, along with Ron Bolt, but there's good yardage. The New England Patriots had to work hard and come from behind to beat Detroit today, 24-17. Lions lost another quarterback. Homelo went down in that game. It's 3rd and less than 2 yards now for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The ball at their 29-yard line. The first quarter is in its final seconds right now, and the Steelers are in the lead 14-0. And to Franco. Oh! Look out, look out, look out. It's a foot race now. And the big guy from Penn State is going to take it the distance on 3rd and short yardage. A 235-pound fullback turns out to be the fastest guy in the field.
We mentioned 71 yards for a touchdown. A guy, as you said, at 230 pounds. Tom Darden is a free safety. Free safeties are known for their speed. He did not have more than a stride on Darden as he left the line of scrimmage, got through the secondary. He maintained it and extended it once he got down the field. Now here's a man who can fly. He stated in his own words, he's gotten off to a slow start. He certainly hasn't started slow today.
Interesting, the longest run in his career prior to this was a 75-yard touchdown run, and that was against the Cleveland Browns. So now, Bauer is out to try an extra point again as Pittsburgh, world champions that they are, has taken command of this football game on the last play of the first quarter. Pittsburgh extends its lead to 21-0. End of the first quarter, Pittsburgh 21, Cleveland 0, and we'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Our creepy camera from the end zone gives you a look at this play as an offensive back would look at a defense. When he breaks through there, you can see you just need one little crack. There's nobody in the secondary. They've got 10 men at the line of scrimmage doing all they can to stop him from making a first down, but they didn't stop him from making a touchdown. Sam Rutigliano on the left, Chuck Noll on the right.
Brown, the right tackle, threw a great block, as did the tight end Grossman, who blocked down on the linebacker, and it's 21-0. Now, Dino Hall has a problem with the football, and the Steelers have it. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they have the football at the 12-yard line. Well, the world champions misfired last week, but man, They are unbelievable, and 15,000 people can make a lot of noise because it sounds like this is at Pittsburgh.
Well, I think Pittsburgh did what was so untypical of them last week in the dressing room. For some reason, they were unaccustomed to being the way they were. They were a little nervous, a little tense, just kind of ready for the ball game. They knew this was big for them. Look at the way they get after that ball down the field. Dino Smith didn't know where they came from, but they did get the ball.
Rookie linebacker from Michigan State. Tom Graves was on the football, so now the Steelers challenge yet again. 1st and 10 at the 12-yard line of Cleveland. Thornton dips outside. Good play by Hall. Caught him from behind, outside linebacker 59. Charlie Hall gets big Sid Thornton. So far, the Browns have turned the ball over twice. The first one was converted into the first score of the game by the Pittsburgh Steelers. And now, as we're early in the second quarter, it is 21-0 Pittsburgh. Now, if this game should get any more out of hand, we're going to switch out to Denver, where the San Diego Chargers and the Broncos are hooked up in a scoreless game. That's if the Steelers start to blow this one wide open, if they have not, in fact, done that already.
Well, 21 is, you can come back from there. 28's a little more difficult.
Bradshaw wants that 28. Out there is Jim Smith. Diving catch, touchdown, Pittsburgh Steelers. Woo. Boy, they're just eating it up today.
I think he's the replacement for Lynn Swan. Now, that's about as fine a catch as you're going to see all year. He knew he had it all the way. He dove. The end zone's a little bit soft in there. Bradshaw made a pretty good throw, but it was a great catch. Little play action. He's putting the ball the only place anybody can grab it. He beats Bolton. You think Terry cares?
I tell you, they say another big factor in Pittsburgh's success. They all believe now in Bradshaw. A few years ago, he'd have the great game and the off game. They know that he's going to take him the distance. He's done it. Here's the extra point attempt. It's wide by Barr. That wind down at that end of the field. The open end is going to be a factor. But with 14:07 left to play in the first half, the Pittsburgh Steelers have moved out in front 27-0. We'll be back at Cleveland in a moment. And now, Matt Barr is ready to kick it off once again for the Pittsburgh Steelers as they've taken command of this game 27-0 early in the second quarter. Don Criqui with John Brody at Cleveland. Dino Hall, who saw the last kickoff return result in a fumble, subsequent recovery, and then on to the touchdown. The Browns have done that twice in this game. This telecast, the Steelers have. The telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Cleveland Browns and the National Football League is prohibited. So Barr will do it all over again back at the 30. John, the Cleveland Browns aren't sure what's happened to them, but they know it is not good.
And Pittsburgh has not made one mistake all day long. That's throughout a whole first quarter of football. They scored a touchdown every time they got their hands on the ball, and they haven't allowed Cleveland's offense to really move the ball effectively. And
Coach
there's
Noel,
the man.
You wouldn't know if he's ahead 27-0 or behind, but he doesn't change. The interesting story about when he was hired by the Steelers back in 1969. They interviewed him the day after Baltimore had been upset by the Jets in Super Bowl III, and his composure, in the opinion of Dan Rooney, was so great. So this is the kind of guy I think we might want leading us out of the wilderness, and he's done that. Been the winningest coach in the NFL since '72. Dino Hall's not done yet. The little guy comes out across the 35-yard line, gets to the 37. Randy Grossman playing special teams. He goes both ways for the Steelers, made the hit. So now Cleveland will try to get something cooking again. They've not moved the ball at all. They did the one possession, you remember, got it down close, and then the field goal attempt by Cockcroft was just wide.
A lot of good things, Don, have got to happen for Cleveland to even get back in the ball game. They've got to score twice. Not an easy group to score against.
And the weather is just like the Steelers like it. It's getting a little ugly now. Gusting winds as Brian Sipe has to throw into it. He's looking, loops it out. Well-thrown ball. Calvin Hill makes the reception, and the big guy from Yale is down to the 32-yard line. Nice play for the Cleveland Browns, and they'll need many more of those.
Calvin Hill runs patterns with any halfback in the game. He gives himself a lot of room when he gets by the linebackers. Little play-action pass. You can see both Dirt Winston and that is Jack Lambert out there trying to recoup on and make a big play. Just a very well-thrown ball.
Browns think they could get an overmatch there. Winston, normally a backup middle linebacker, is outside right now. Starting today, Houston leading St. Louis 17-10 fourth quarter game, so the Oilers looking to hold to their share of the AFC Central lead. It's first down and 10 now for the Browns, 32-yard line. Pittsburgh, and Brian Sipe's going to go down slowly and almost in pieces.
Well, he bad snap from the center. When that happens, get what you can, fall on the ball, and go back and regroup.
7-7 is the score at the Superdome in New Orleans. The Rams and the Saints. Galbraith ran in for a touchdown for New Orleans. Wendell Tyler came back and scored for the Rams. 5-yard run. Sam Ratigliano, quarterback coach Jim Schaffner, your old pal from San Francisco, John.
They're looking a little glum right now.
You got to go way down in your bag of tricks to get back in this. As the Steelers have commanded the game 27-0. Second quarter. Second down and 8. Ahead for a first down to the 21-yard line. So the Browns moving nicely off the snap of the ball, get the break in the Steeler defensive front. Donnie Shell and Mike Wagner, the safeties, were on the tackle. It's going to be first down now for Cleveland as they've advanced the ball to the 21-yard line of Pittsburgh. First half clock shows 11:55 to play. Leo Miller comes in the backfield of the Browns.
Don, there's so much time left that just a little bit of a letdown by Pittsburgh could allow Cleveland to get back in the ballgame. We've seen a lot stranger things happen. Houston won after being down 24-0 just a couple weeks ago.
That's right. Ryan Sipe takes a look. They're taking care of Ryan. He's got time. Lets her rip. There's a man open. Leo Miller. Somebody else came from off the play, made the reception, and it's going to be a first down inside the 5-yard line. Ozzie Newsome came from off the play. The ball was intended for another guy, and Newsome grabbed at it and made the reception.
It was intended for Miller, but Newsome came back. He was simply a decoy on the play, kind of bent back around J.T. Thomas, made a fine play. He didn't even know Cleo was in the area.
So the big guy from Bama, Ozzie Newsome, brings the Browns down close. They'll have it first and goal from the 2-yard line. Temperature in the 40s. Winds are gusting. The lights are on. The Browns as close as they've been in this football game. Ryan Sipe rolls out, takes a look into the end zone. Intercepted! Donnie Shell intercepted the football. And they're up and swinging. Mike Pruitt lost the ball, came in a little high, had both hands on it, though. He should have caught it.
Well, when it rains, it pours. You know, the ball was thrown a little hard. Sipe actually had a lot of time. He didn't expect to have as much time as he was given, and Shell just kind of ran into a bobbled ball. Take a look. Here's a little bootleg play. He's got Rising out in front of him. He finds Mike Pruitt in the end zone. A little bobble allows Shell to get on the ball, and they get another turnover.
So the Steelers are getting it every which way. The Browns have been down close twice, have come up empty. It is 20-7 Pittsburgh. We'll be back in a moment.
Here's a great Radio Shack bargain for people on the go. A take-along realistic entertainment system. It's an AM/FM radio for music and news, a cassette tape player. With this built-in mic, I can record lectures, meetings, even personal notes anywhere. Right now at Radio Shack.
Now the Cardinals have come back, tied up Houston 17-17 in the fourth quarter. The Otis Brown went in from 3 yards out for a Cardinal touchdown. Got to have a very direct bearing on the outcome and the standings in the American Football Conference Central Division that game. Hand off to Thornton, and he rips up the middle. Gets out on a 1st and 10 play to the 27-yard line. They say Ted Marchibroda's job is on the line. Should Baltimore lose this week, they're in front of the Jets. Dallas holding to a 10-7 lead over Minnesota. Second down and 3. Franco runs. Gets the ball out to the 28-yard line. Now the Browns dig down. Linebackers come up tight. It is 3rd and 2 for the Steelers. They go to the power run. Thornton puts his head down. Cleveland's there to hit him, knock him down short of the first down. So the Browns will get a ball back now on the punt for the first time in this game. Mickey Sims, number 78, the left tackle, made the hit. And also on to the Cleveland Browns. They cut him earlier. Of course, Keith Wright, the fine punt returner, is down for the season with a knee operation.
This is the way the punter sees it, Don.
Line drive punt by Colquitt. Dino Hall is going to have a problem here as he eludes the man who came down to make the first play. And Dino Hall's not done yet. Lost the ball again briefly, but got it back. He's out to the 39-yard line. Down first for the Pittsburgh Steelers was Larry Anderson, but he missed him. And right now we'll take a break in the action with the Steelers still in command, 27-0. Action on NBC. First at 12:30 Eastern Time, NFL 79. with Brian Gumbel and Mike Adamley. And a look at Wild West football, Canadian style in Calgary. Then most of the country will see the big interconference matchup between the high-powered Patriots and the Bears with Walter Payton, who won the game today at Buffalo. Other key games, Buffalo at Miami, the Seahawks and the Chargers, Denver versus the Chiefs. Now, Pruitt comes out wide, and he is down inside the 45-yard line before Lambert finally ran him down. And
there again, they're trying to pick on Dennis Winston. Now, he's an outstanding middle linebacker. He hasn't played the outside. He has to go in because 2 or 3 injuries have occurred. They have been able to isolate him a couple times. When they have, they've been effective. Still haven't got any points on the board. It's a long way back from 27-zip.
Ooh, man, that is a big hole you've dug yourself. 27-0, Pittsburgh is in the lead. The Browns have moved the ball on 2 possessions once they were down point-blank range. An interception in the end zone stopped them. Another time missed field goal. Here's Pruitt. He gets some open room. And Pruitt on a first down carry rips ahead for close to 10 yards. He got 9. It'll be 2nd and 1. Dennis Winston, 53, made the tackle. Pruitt comes into the game as Cleveland's leading rusher. He's averaging 3.5 yards a carry. He's up close to 300 yards for the season now after his efforts here in the first half. The Steelers with Banaszak at right end. Down at right tackle is Furness. Joe Green and Greenwood, the front 4. Now Gary Dunn. He's gone out. Beasley has come in. He's playing the left end. Goes and over the middle goes Calvin Hill, and he's down close to the 32-yard line. Calvin Hill gets a first down for the Cleveland Browns with 7:06 to play in the first half.
I really think Cleveland has a chance to get back in the ball game. It's very difficult to keep your intensity level as high as they have.
The Browns should have 10, but that Pittsburgh defense denied them, and this field goal also stopped a 3-point attempt. And here is Sipe as a penalty marker goes down. He's lofting it into the end zone. Rucker is in there, but there is a penalty marker down. Penalty marker is down on the field.
It's a touchdown. Looked like a defensive penalty, and that's what we're talking about. That time, Rucker goes down, beats a little double coverage. There was really nothing to it, and he just ran a simple little pattern. He was down there beating 2 people and Sipe through the ball. It's like, oh hum, how easy it is. Here we go, Reggie Rucker. This is a double coverage. He's got Donnie Shell, who thinks he's going to make the cut down about a 15 yards deep. He just turns it out. Sipe throws him the ball, and they've closed the gap a bit.
They have indeed. Here is a good throw, and Rucker right out there takes it, makes sure he's got it into the end zone. He goes. So the call was against the Steelers, and the play goes, and the Browns are on the board for the first time in the game. Cockcroft ready to throw the point after attempt with Logan holding, and he is right through the uprights. So with 6:28 left to play in the first half now, the score is the Pittsburgh Steelers 27, the Cleveland Browns 7. We'll be back at Cleveland Stadium in a moment. A strained knee for Cleveland's all-purpose back, the former Oklahoma Sooner. Boy, can he play. Not big enough to play, they told him. He was a 5'2" tight end in high school.
He was probably taller than the other guys, though.
But 80 passes. Cockcroft kicks off and kicks off well. He drives it into the end zone. This won't come back. Larry Anderson fields it over the shoulder. I'll tell you, the Browns might be down, but they're pretty high as their defense now comes running out onto the field. So it will be 1st and 10 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have a 27-7 lead. They've converted 2 Brown fumble recoveries into subsequent touchdowns. They've done it without Lynn Swann, who stands on the sideline. Winners tell jokes and losers say deal, says Lynn Swann.
Yeah, but this game's still in, we're still playing this game. 2.5 quarters to go.
80,000. This arena's been sold out for some 6 weeks. Start up now as Harris goes wide. And the Browns finally knock him down, but 5 yards downfield. Here's a penalty coming in, John, after the play.
I don't think it was for anything after the play. I think it was a holding penalty. We'll see. This is a big series of plays for Cleveland. They could have 17 points and be right in the thick of things, but they're playing well offensively. Their defense knows it. If they can hold them as they did the last time, they can still get within reach. 13 points is not out of reach. They only need 1 touchdown to get within that area.
There's Jim Tunney, our referee.
Holding, 10 yards, number 38, still first down.
Sidney Thornton was caught holding, and so now the Steelers are set back to their 10-yard line. It'll be 1st and 20. We'll look at it again.
Let's take a look. Sidney Thornton's the man that got called.
He was
trying to help out his back.
Clay Matthews. Ball, Jackson, and Matthews backing the line for the Cleveland Browns. Bradshaw guns the ball out to Benny Cunningham, and he ran into his own tackle, Larry Brown, and also into Clarence Scott, the strong safety who came in for the Cleveland Browns. So the knockdown is made, and the Steelers fall. You know, you get a funny feeling about this game, John.
You just have the feeling sometimes. You could almost feel Pittsburgh just get a little bit listless after they got their 27th point, and now Cleveland getting 7 points on the board is kind of pumped up. They know they have a chance to get back in it. It's a home crowd, and a lot stranger things have happened.
Now some new people come in on the Browns defense. Rich Dimler, a big, tough tackle from Southern California, comes in. Sims comes out. They go to a 4-1-6 defense. They've got 6 defensive backs in the game. Clinton Burrell comes in the game, rookie from LSU. Here's a handoff. They go to the draw, and there's nothing there. Browns shut it right down, and they're really starting up in Cleveland now. Jerry Shirk, number 72, an all-pro football player, makes the big play.
You can tell the people in the stands feel the same thing. When you get a 27-7 game and the home team's got the 7 and the fans are as excited as these people are, there's something going on here that I'm not quite aware of, but they're going to get the ball back. They've got plenty of time to put another drive together.
There's something happening here in Cleveland now as Shirk makes the big play. These Browns are hanging tough. A long way to go, 4:50 to play in the first half. Now it is 3rd and 23 for Bradshaw and the Steelers. They go to the run, and Rocky Bleier gets some of it back, but not nearly enough, and the Browns will get the football back. Lyle Alzado, 77 on the stop for Cleveland. Jerry Shirk's a tough guy to block.
Well, Shirk gets good penetration. Sam Davis trying to handle Shirk alone is a tough thing to do. He does his job. He gives Bleier a chance to get into the secondary. Just too many yards to pick up.
That Matthews will hit somebody, 57. He comes over the top. And now Colquitt standing back almost at his goal line. They've got Ozzie Newsome in the return punch. Colquitt, boy, he can hit it. Newsome signals for and makes a fair catch. So now the Browns go on offense 1st and 10, and we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
This is WIC-TV, your new spirit station in Pittsburgh.
Here's a big score. 4th quarter, Astrodome, Houston, Texas. Cardinals 24, the Houston Oilers 17. Wayne Morris just scored with 2:35 left. So that holds up. The winner of this game will take over sole possession of first place in the AFC Central. 2nd quarter, the Chargers and Broncos still have not put points up. That was a 48-yard punt by Craig Colquitt of the Steelers. 1st and 10, Cleveland Browns at their 37. Sight takes a look. The completion is made to Mike Pruitt. He is ahead to the 41-yard line. Didn't get much, got some, got 3. Scores coming in as the 1 o'clock games are winding up. 2nd quarter score now. This was a 2 o'clock kickoff at Baltimore. The Colts are leading the Jets 10-0. Baltimore winless going into the game. Dallas has now moved out in front 17-7 over Minnesota. They're playing at Bloomington, Minnesota. Dorsett has run for 2 touchdowns for Dallas from 3 yards out both times. The last time Cleveland played at home was a Monday night game against Dallas when the Browns scored one of their biggest wins ever, I guess, John.
Kings turned around just the other way, and you can see Dallas trying to come back.
It's 2nd down and 6 now for Cleveland. They go to the run. Pruitt gets outside. Mike Pruitt running hard. Puts his shoulder into Mel Blount and into Jack Lambert and takes the ball to the 50-yard line. It's a 1st down for the Cleveland Browns.
Offensively, Cleveland is moving the ball. They're probably as effective as anybody's been against Pittsburgh all year long. And they've, as we mentioned, they've got over 30 minutes to play. They've got over 3 minutes in this half. And they're moving.
They really are. They're moving the ball against the Steelers have all game, but have not been able to get any more than 7 points. Now getting out of bounds, Pruitt not only got the 1st down, but he stopped the clock with 3:13 left to play in the first half. Sam Rutigliano seeing his offense come to life now. Browns scored in their last possession. They're at their 49-yard line, 1st and 10. Sight drops. He's looking at Logan. Logan over the middle. It's too much on it. And Mel Blount, an all-pro cornerback, almost had the interception. Mel Blount, 6'4", weighs 218 pounds. He's a cornerback.
And he can fly.
He can get downfield. They say, John, on one-on-one coverage, he's as good as there is.
I think he is as good. Lewis Wright is outstanding. And Jimmy Johnson. It's funny, all those fellas are built alike too. They're over 6 foot tall, long legs, and they can really cover. Usually you don't see the long-legged fellas playing corner, but these are exceptions.
Steelers are very seldom, though, in man-to-man coverage. They're still in that zone most of the time. I guess just about everybody.
Well, they put Blunt one-on-one a lot.
When they blitz,
he's so good.
When they blitz, he'll be one-on-one. Penalty markers go down. Ozzie Newsome was running a deep pattern. He's always a threat. He could be more as the game wears on. Last week, when they were upset by the Philadelphia Eagles,
Defensive encroachment.
Defensive encroachment, a 5-yard assessment will be marked off against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Last week against Philadelphia, Krefley, the tight end for the Eagles, on a straight release in the tight end position, got 92 yards on 4 catches.
Encroachment 75 and 68. Still second down.
Rich Kotite, one of the assistant coaches for the Browns, says the guy they're really concerned about is Shell back there. Look at this.
Tells you how good Pittsburgh has been coming into this ball game, and Cleveland's moving the ball.
Second down and 5 now for the Cleveland Browns. 46-yard line of Pittsburgh. Sight, play fake it. He's got a problem. He unloads. Newsome catches the ball. So Brian Sipe did very well not only to elude the rush, just to get rid of the ball. It is a completion.
He sure did a good job to get rid of the ball. He had none of his receivers open. He was caught. This is when you're having a little problem. You don't have any backs out. He kept a few backs in to help block. Greenwood got by a few blockers early. When he did so, Sipe made a fine play just to get rid of it.
The one thing, John, you have to be concerned about when you play the Pittsburgh Steelers is the fourth quarter. This year, they've outscored the opposition in the fourth quarter 52-7. So they come at you in the last 15 minutes hard.
They came at the Browns pretty hard in the first quarter.
Did they? It was 21-0 at the end of the first quarter, and a couple plays into the second quarter it was 27-0 Pittsburgh. Now it's 27-7 to Sipe on 3rd down and 7. Arcs a long one. Little bumping downfield. J.T. Thomas was on the coverage of Rucker, but it's clean all the way. The official right on the play.
Don Rucker's had a little leg problem. He hasn't been able to run at full speed, which is the reason we mentioned you might see a Willis Smith or a John Smith or Willis Adams. You can see right now he's one-on-one. Sipe's got the defense he wants, but Rucker can't outrun J.T. Thomas. And if you get the right defense, you still have to be able to execute.
He's a great comeback story. His career was over last year because of a blood disorder, unusual illness, but J.T. Thomas is back and playing strong football for the Steelers, and now the Browns will have to punt with 2 minutes left. Oh, they're going to throw the ball. Johnny Evans, first down. Great play. He goes to feature. Johnny Evans was a quarterback at North Carolina State. He goes to Ricky Feature for the first down.
And Schaaf said he may be an outstanding quarterback before he's through, but when your punter can throw the ball, boy, is that an edge. And he hasn't shown it all year long. That's the first throw he's made during the regular season, right on the money. And Cleveland keeps its drive alive.
So with 2 minutes left to play in the first half, the Browns get it going now, and they're starting to mount another challenge, looking to get back in this football game. The first NFL completion for Johnny Evans is a big one, and we'll be back with the Browns with the 1st and 10 in a moment. With John Brody, this is Don Crickey back at Cleveland Stadium. 2 minutes left to play in the first half. The Browns fell behind 27-0 to the world champion Steelers. Now Cleveland, scoring on its last possession, is driving again. The Browns have the ball at the 34-yard line of Pittsburgh with 2 minutes to play in the half. It's 1st and 10 Cleveland. Logan goes wide to the right. Reggie Rucker is wide to left. He got in the end zone the last time the Browns had the ball. And Sipe is looking at Rucker. Here's Ozzie Newsome, just a little bit long.
I'll tell you, that Donnie Shell did a heck of a job of covering, because Newsome did get one-on-one with Shell. Wagner was out of the play completely, and he stayed right with him. Okay, everybody in the house knows he's going to throw, but to whom? Newsome goes right down the field. Shell's with him man for man, covers him all the way.
The man that Bear Bryant said is the best pass catcher we ever had at Alabama. They asked Bear Bryant one time if they ever retired his number as a college player. He said, nope, because I wore a different one every week. We all did. That's how we sold programs. 2nd down and 10 for the Cleveland Browns. Logan is in. Rucker is in. flank to either side. Brian Sipe, a cool man when the heat is on, directing the Browns offense. He takes the drop. Good pass block. Here's Calvin Hill open. And Hill goes out of bounds inside the 20-yard line with 1:48 to play in the first half.
Again, they were able to catch Winston one-on-one with a halfback. You know, it's really difficult. People say, hey, if you're a linebacker, you're a linebacker. Sure, we know, but he hasn't played the outside. He's got to play it right now because Cole's hurting, and they've got a couple other injuries to go with him. He's the most experienced linebacker they have at this time, and he's filling in. He's doing the best he can, but it's awful tough to cover an area you're not accustomed to.
That's what the Browns were going to work on. And now you see Zach Valentine goes in. They're going to try another man at that outside position. Zach Valentine, a rookie from East Carolina, is in on the... He's doubling up now on Logan. He's coming over, doubling up along with the cornerback Blunt. Steelers have a mistake in their coverage. The defensive backs are waving at each other. Sipe is looking at it. 1st and 10, end zone throw. Rucker was there. John, you really get the feeling the Browns are going to be able to score. They're getting people open.
Well, that time they had the proper call against the proper defense. Donnie Shell had to watch Newsome all by himself. However, Newsome couldn't get loose. Sipe ended up having to throw the ball away, and it's one thing to call a proper play. It's another thing to be able to execute.
Chuck Noll going with a lot of people on his defensive line. Dwight White, number 78, is now in the game. He is the right end, has been in there. Gary Dunn, the right tackle. Joe Green, the left tackle, and Tom Beasley, the left end, 65. Rucker goes out of the game now. Ricky Feature comes in. It's 2nd down and 10 for the Browns. 19-yard line of Pittsburgh. Sipe looks. Comes in. Gets caught by Ozzie Newsome. Touchdown, Cleveland.
Hey, it's tough, Don. When you've had a 27-0 lead, now it looks like you're back within 2 touchdowns of having a problem, and it's tough to get up off the floor.
Ozzie Newsome came across the middle on a tight end release to the weak side. He scooted out behind the linebackers. We'll watch him catch the ball and take it in.
You can see Mike Pruitt gave him a fine block to help out. Pruitt's on the outside. Newsome cuts behind him. He just upends Thomas, and they're in for 6.
And so now the Browns are on the ball again with 1:35 left to play in the first half. And they're looking for their 14th point. And that missed extra point by Matt Barr could ultimately this game be a big one. Cockcroft nails it. Gee, if the Browns ever had all the points they should have, this would be airtight. Cleveland turns the game around and gets back in the second quarter. We'll be back with what has turned into a very exciting football game. Service by the National Football League. Well, we're really heating up here in Cleveland, but we still might be switching part of our network to Denver and San Diego. They're still in a scoreless tie out at Mile High Stadium as the wind gusts down on the playing field and blows the ball off the tee for Don Cockcroft. 1:35 left to play in the first half. Cleveland scoring on its last 2 possessions after missing earlier chances. Now trails the Steelers 27-14, and the impetus is turned around. It's in the white shirts now.
This is very untypical of Pittsburgh-Cleveland ball games. Most of them are very low scoring, hard fought in the trenches. Everybody's trying to control the ball. This one, the ball is up for grabs.
The Browns' offensive line has really done a good job in the second quarter taking care of Sipe. They've given him time to throw, and he has been there with the football.
He's been there for the last 10 or 12 games that he's played with Cleveland. He's turned into an outstanding quarterback.
Don Cockcroft with the ball teed up. You'll recall his last one was hit 9 yards into the end zone. Last kickoff. This one is going to carry now. The gusting wind holds it. Larry Anderson brings it across the 10. He's to the 20. Turns to the outside, and Anderson's across the 30. All the way out to the 45-yard line to the 47-yard line. So Larry Anderson, explosive kick returner, brings the ball back nicely for the Steelers. A 42-yard return. And Bradshaw and the Steeler offense now has enough time to possibly get something else up. Willis Adams was on the tackle for Cleveland. The ball all the way out to the Steelers' 47-yard line. Bradshaw having a great day throwing the ball. You couldn't have a better one. He's put it up 6 times, has completed 6, 2 for touchdowns. Pump faking. Completion is down to the 42-yard line. John Stallworth came back at the football. Looked like a Brown defensive back. Might have a play on it. but the reception is made. John?
Don, you can see that Bradshaw knows the whole trend of momentum has changed. They have to get back on the offense. They were starting to hold the ball, trying to control it, almost just kind of eating up the clock with a little over 2 quarters to play. Now they know they're back in a ball game. They've got to go and attack.
Sam Ratigliano starting to feel a little better about this. Tonight on NBC, Disney's Wonderful World will be coming up at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Part 2 of the $1 Million Duck, starring Dean Jones. At 8 o'clock, it is a big event. Great. We'll pick up that blitz and sound it back the other way. First and 10 Steelers. They go to a draw play, and Thornton doesn't get much. Shirk playing a brilliant game. Again, fights off the block. Got a piece of Sidney Thornton. And the clock continues to run, and it's going to wind down to a minute now. The Steelers going into formation without a huddle. That is the game clock you see winding down. Second and 10. Bradshaw takes a look deep. Now triggers it to Rocky Blyer. And Blyer is down close to the 30-yard line, very near to a first down. He might have it, John.
Excellent pattern all the way. Bradshaw just kind of looked people off, let Blyer come out, laid out of the backfield. There were no linebackers in the area, picked up a first down. And they're on the move with 46 seconds left.
Now we have a conversation on the sideline as Bradshaw comes over to talk to Chuck Noll's Dick Hoke, the longtime running back with the Steelers. What are they saying?
I don't really think there's any wisdom going on. It's just they're trying to discuss how to handle their timeouts, what plays they feel they might call at this time. There are probably 2 or 3 thoughts that he'll go out there with. I think Chuck Noll is an outstanding offensive coach.
See the lights on this now very cold afternoon here in Cleveland. Temperature dropping and the wind is picking up in intensity. Right here we see the Steelers, 8th on offense and rushing, 4th in passing, 7th overall. Cleveland grading out as the 8th best defensive team at this point. Charlie Hall goes out and Dave Graff comes in to play linebacker. The wind is really gusting now. It's a very unusual wind. You can't tell which way it's going to come at you from before.
Well, I don't think it's not with Pittsburgh. If there is any wind at all, it's going the other way. 3rd down and a foot. If they do try to pick up the first down, which I think they will, I really think they will, they've still got time. Get back on the ball. Let's get another play. That's what they were discussing, I'm sure, when they went to the sideline.
They break the huddle. They send Jim Smith wide to the right. John Starwood is on the left. Bradshaw goes to the run. That's just what they do. They go for the first down. Thornton runs it down to the 25-yard line and also advances the ball to the middle of the field. 35 seconds left. And the Steelers with timeouts left. They're right into formation. Bradshaw takes a look. Ball was tipped. Alzado was up. Nicky Sims was up. Lucia gets credit for the tip ball because
it was Sims.
Lots of guys were wide open swinging out. Nice patterns being run by the Steelers.
That's, you know, Don, that's really about the only way you can protect them against the back coming out of the backfield late after the linebacker has moved into his drop area. You've got to depend on your linemen to get their hands up and get a piece of the ball.
Well, it worked that time for the Browns. That's the first incompletion of the day for Terry Bradshaw. 26 seconds left to play first half. Score, Cleveland trailing Pittsburgh 27-14. Browns defense trying to stave off the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are looking to put up some more before halftime. 2nd and 10. Bradshaw looking long over the middle. Came in short to Benny Cunningham. 3rd down and 10. It's going to be a tough field goal if the Steelers don't advance the ball on this play, on this 3rd down 10 play coming up. Barr, the rookie place kicker from Penn State, was having a lot of problems in pregame and at yesterday's practice getting it through here with the wind.
And he's going a little bit against it at this time.
It's difficult for the college kickers to come into the NFL because in college, as you may know, they use a kicking tee on field goals and extra points. In the pros, you kick it off the dirt or the fuzzy concrete, whatever you're playing on.
Whatever.
Bradshaw on 3rd and 10 looks into the end zone. He's got a problem now. And he throws the ball away. Let's see if they call him on a grounding. They do not. They think they should in Cleveland. 80,000 people up calling the play, but Jim Tunney is the man who makes that decision.
Well, Tunney was sitting there making sure of the play between the tackles, the rush, and Bradshaw. And I don't even think he saw the ball being released by Terry.
Mike St. Clair says, hey, of course, the intentional grounding is a loss of down. Now the field goal attempt. It'll be a 43-yard attempt. The wind is blowing. The fans are also trying to work on Barr. That's not going to get there. It does. It makes the upright. It was held up and came down and crossed the bar. It looked like it was going to come up short. So Matt Barr delivers a real clutch field goal for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And they extend their lead to 30-14.
And it's a good distance. It's a long 42 yards, Don.
The wind almost stopped it, but it dropped over the crossbar. The bar 10 feet in the air, and Matt Barr hits an important field goal for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And with 11 seconds left to play in the first half, it is the Steelers 30, the Browns 14, and Chuck Noll said, let's get it on here and get after these guys. Ready to kick off is Matt Barr. Many of our stations around the NBC network will be going to news at halftime. So very briefly, after this kickoff, we're going to update the other scores around the league for you. Matt Barr. Ready to hit the ball. Dino Hall is back deep now for the Browns. He's 5'7" with cleats on and a helmet on. Not too big, but he's not afraid. In the middle he goes, and Dino Hall. Let me at those big guys. I'll whack him.
Boy.
Anthony Anderson finally knocks him down. John?
Don, he just escaped a collision between, and you can see the two Pittsburgh Steelers who are in on the play. Larry Anderson's getting up very slow. Take a look. This is Zach Valentine coming down on the play. Dino Smith runs right through a collision, just barely got through it. We don't see it on the screen, but it happened.
So while a Pittsburgh player is down, we'll review the scores around the rest of the National Football League. San Diego and Denver at halftime have not scored. It is a 0-0 tie at Mile High Stadium. L.A. has now moved out to a 21-7 lead over the Saints at the Superdome, and even as we speak, the Rams get in the end zone again, 28-7. 5 seconds left to play in the first half here at Cleveland Stadium. The Browns have the ball as an injured Steeler is attended to. All right. Tom Graves, rookie linebacker from Michigan State. Is all right. Second quarter score. Baltimore leading the Jets as they did in the first quarter. It is 10-0 Colts. They need a win so badly. They say Marchibroda could be gone if the Colts do not come out on top this week. They go into the game 0-5. Giants won their first game today. They beat the previously unbeaten Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Dallas leading Minnesota in the third quarter, 23-10. Brian Sipe takes a look long. Last play of the half. He's going to throw the home run ball.
He better get
intercepted. Mike Wagner has it. He's not done yet. Looking for blockers. Looking to lateral. Calhoun don't want the ball at this point. Right now, Wagner takes it across the 45 and gets to the 47. So the first half ends